Um, I am here, and I'm here on a new link because the other link wasn't letting me in. So I am just trying to let people know. Hi, Soulspirations. Yeah, I'm just trying to let people know I've got a new link here. So I'll just post in a couple of places, and then we'll begin. It's such a nuisance. And every time it happens, I've forgotten how to remedy it. Um, it's amazing that you found me. Honestly, I don't know why this happens. I don't know why I can't get my head around. It's like it's whenever I try and do, if I do anything else on my computer, when I've not made a notification, it's like it buries this somewhere, and all of a sudden it's not active, and I don't know how to remedy that. And anyway, it's just how it is, I guess. What did I call this? Right. And I will go in here. All right. All right. There's so much light in here, and I also need ventilation, so I'm just trying to master that. Okay, so hi Sally, hi Arnica, hi Soulspirations, and hi Billy. And I have just let a couple of people know who said they were coming, or at least I've let Lottie know. I guess that this experience is not unlike the energy that we are in the midst of, is it? So for me, I know that the energy is wild, and yet I don't feel like I'm in wild energy. I know that the energy is very penetrating, and yet I am not feeling that so much in my own physicality. So it feels like I am in a space at the minute anyway, that could change any moment, right? Where I am observing what is going on and just receiving information. So I think one of the things that has become exceptionally clear is that, and I don't say this to be in that I'm right camp, because it doesn't matter to me, except that I like to know that the information that I'm giving is correct, is the men who I've spoken to, who have either men in my life or men who have come as clients, and like that is really shifting in the balance. I have to say, I thought that I had more men this week than women. Might have been the same when I had a look just before I came on. But the men in our world are really doing what it is that we've been speaking about here, which is they are coming into their hearts. They are attending to their wounding, and they're really feeling well, like vulnerable and emotional, and recognizing, yeah, their feelings. So we are in we're in so many things that we've spoken about here, but we are certainly in the physical of the changing of the dance partners, and this is becoming in the physical now. So I'm hearing about examples of that. We're in the time of the masculine diving deeper into their hearts and what their hearts are saying to them. And I had a really beautiful time with a client yesterday, and he's in his mid-20s, and I tell you what, he and his experience and what he is coming to and how much growth he's had just fills my heart, honestly. He is turning into the most magnificent man, and it was I felt privileged actually to be, present with him and to have been a little part of his story. But yeah, it's like we're watching the great reveal, and that is showing up kind of in the way that Gaia said, government, economics, and health. These are the big reveals, the things, the documentation that's showing up that's been sent as instructions to Pfizer, for example. Very telling that that wasn't about our health. So I don't want to dwell here about that, but I just want to make you aware that that's going to come. And so we are in the time of things that we've talked about here for quite a long time, of these things that were coming, and we're now in them. So this idea that now we're going to have friends and community and family members who might be in the very confronting information about their choices and decisions through COVID. And it doesn't mean that it was the wrong choice either. But, everybody made their choices for whatever they made them for, and on whatever basis they made them for. And we know that, well, what God said to me. So God has said a few things. So he said that we would come to the time of the changing of the dance partners, and we're at the beginning of that time now, that we would come to a time where the masculine would come into their own divinity and their own power, and we're in that time now, that we would come to a time where people would be able to come into the neutrality of the fact that there were choices, and that people made their choices based on what felt right for them at the time, and that for us, to give up the idea of needing to be right, just to be holding space for whatever is happening. And what the other thing that God said to me was that 30% was replaced with plasma, so we know that that will have had an impact as well. But yeah, there's all of that, and there's the sort of the big picture is our preparation for coming into the new. And I have to say again that it is my sense that we are having what I feel is accurately to be called a dimensional shift, and that's going to come next month. We're going to have a dimensional shift, and Gaia speaks about our everything. So the plant, well, its enlivenment, and people people have even spoken to me about that this week, that they have noticed. So these are not people, these are people who are new, that they have noticed that nature has more energy, light, animation. Yeah, so we're in the beginning of that time. We're in the time of this the recognition of truth, and it's happening in the physical. So that's our own, so you, me, we might find that there are some things that come up that lead us into having to do some more healing about something. And the other thing is, we might come into greater recognition of our gifts, because we're in that timing as well. So a lot more telepathic communication is going to come on board. So you might notice that if you're in a partnership connection, and you might notice that with your children, or with your parents, or with the people in your community, there's this telepathy is going to come on board now. So we've had this clairvoyance opening up, and certainly that will open up more and more. And then we've got this telepathy coming on board, and the gorgeous, stunning, beautiful children who are coming in. They are here, all knowing. They are here to be our teachers. We're here. I believe we are here to anchor in this higher light, to be the conduit for it, to anchor it into the grids, to spread it out. So we'll do a little exercise about that later. But these new children, they are coming in. They're coming into their crystalline format, and some of that is the rose crystal, and some of that is just a straight crystalline form. And it's the same for us in our physical molecular structure. We're becoming more crystalline. So I want to say it is time for you to give yourself permission to be the greatest version of yourself. And I mean that in the most incredible way. And so we'll do a little exercise on that. The sexual energy, the energy running through the sacral has, well, it's interesting because on a personal level, it's just been like off the charts for me. And I know that there are other people who have been saying the same thing. So that's in the energetics, obviously. Yeah, and so on the 19th, I wrote about that, and then this explosive energy in the hearts, and it really is explosive. So it may be that some people are feeling it like a physical. I don't want to call it a wrenching, but like as though it's being pulled apart, like that. There's a sense of this sort of soft explosion in the heart, and maybe you see it, maybe you feel it, maybe you kind of have a sensory noticing of it, but that can be quite strong, and it can be a little bit painful, but that's definitely been happening. And I feel that now we really are being invited to come into this greater love, this greater depth of love, this greater feeling of love, this greater love of self and for self. If we don't have that in alignment, then really we will kind of end up being out of the loop, because that's where we have to be in our fullness of expression first, in the love of self and the accepting of all aspects of us and loving it, loving self. So yeah, this idea that came a couple of days ago of that we're really crossing the bridge, as though we're physically, tangibly moving across the bridge, but that also we might feel as though we are also the bridge. So as though we might be, because we're both. We are like laying down the track, laying down the energetic, laying the things for people to follow. Maybe there are some aspects of also still carving a track through the forest or through the bush, or laying down some path bricks for people to follow. But there's definitely been this sense of our energetically both being the bridge and creating the bridge as this crossing into the next, because it feels like we have really come to this sort of very distinct ending of a cycle, a big cycle, and the beginning of a new, a higher, and certainly a faster and more accelerated cycle. And so I think that there can be some celebration in that, because it's exciting. It's got that energy to it, that the whole resonance of it is very celebratory. It's very exciting. Yeah, and so it's just, I want to say, the practice of being in this allowance of who comes into your life and what comes into your life, and when, like, be in the openness of the timing, and how, even if you are very clear about what you see and what you get and what you sense and what you feel, to be sort of fluid about the timing of these things. Yeah, and to be in the practice of sitting in this deep, deep trust that you've got this, that it's fine, it's all in good hands, that you're in good hands because you're in your own hands. And that we are, yeah, it's like on all of the levels at the moment as well, like the sort of, I guess, the reveal. I had a quick skim read of something earlier today, and the reveal of what is happening in the USA House of Government, and watching will be showing more clearly what probably has already gone on. I would say that's how it feels to me, that there's been a lot that has already gone on, happened behind the scenes, and now it'll be marched out, and it's being marched out pretty jolly quickly, isn't it? And so it will be, for many of us, it will be like, oh, okay, yep, knew that. Oh, okay, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's a surprise. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I like that. It will be, that will be very like, oh, yeah, I always knew that. Excuse me. And then there will be other things where we might be a little bit surprised, and there will maybe be things that we're shocked about. So then, yeah, this, I've been calling it cosmic rain because it's definitely coming from the cosmos. It's definitely carrying these codes. A little blip there. I seem to be in quite a lot of flux with electronics at the moment and technology. It seems to me that the codes that are coming through are another batch of codes that we haven't seen or felt before. And so that's why I know that I've used that term before, but that was the term that I wrote yesterday, cosmic rain. And the cosmic rain is the sort of combination of energetics that are coming, that are from the sun, from the galaxy, from the moon, perhaps from particular planets and stars, and they're kind of energized in more than one way, and they are really coming into to bring us into our new codes now. So first wavers are really, I would say, on the end parts of whatever needs to be healed and released. And I want to say, don't get caught up with that if you're not, because we all came for different reasons, remember, and where you might be on the sort of lineal order of this doesn't factor in where you are in your elevation, in your ascension, in your wisdom, in your mastery. We each came here for, a role or many roles, but they're not the same. It would be ridiculously futile if we all came to do exactly the same thing. So each of us have come to do particular things, and one of the things that we all will have come to do is to kind of deal with our lineage, deal with the mysteries, the injury, the trauma, the wounding of our family genealogical lines. And so you may have dealt with all of that, or you may not. It may have been, only that, or it may have been massive. And it might be that that's your soul work, or it might be that that's just a component of your work. But I really want you to just be sitting well with, well, I'm doing what it is that I'm guided to do, and that is all that I can do, and I'm doing it well. So don't get into doubt about it, and definitely don't be beating yourself up about it. None of this flagellation, thank you very much. Just move into whatever this is. It will be right. It will be perfect for me in my situation, and the timing of my opening, my elevation, my acceleration, my awakening, my higher consciousness. And then, yeah, this thing that came, and after I channeled this information and I went and looked, and I saw that I had spoken about that not very long ago, about the codes coming in from both the water and the fire. But yesterday it came as the fire water. That was what I channeled. That was the name that came, the fire, water. And so I went and looked up the Ascension glossary, and I wrote the meaning of that in the text somewhere. So this construct of the higher light codes and information that is continuing to pout down upon us, like this cosmic rain, what I'm calling cosmic rain, um, is held within the fire water. And at that time, I was, as I was writing it, I was, because I'm writing, I'm processing what I'm writing, and sometimes I'm speaking about the process that I'm writing as well. I'm not always in this exact, it's like I'm maybe viewing it here, writing about it here, and then sort of sensing into it here, and then looking at it over there. So it doesn't it all interrelates, but it's not necessarily a great piece of writing. And I'm not apologizing for that. I'm just explaining what happens. So I wrote in here, this construct is held within the fire water, that's the cosmic rain. And although it is an incongruous description, this plasma that has arrived, this moving and energized force of cosmic nature, is definitely behaving with both the elements and the qualities of everything to do with fire and everything to do with water. And it's highly, highly charged. And that is my own personal experience as well. I feel like that. I feel like I'm highly, highly charged, but I have to admit that a lot of that feels like sexual energy. And there's this crystalline aspect, that it's this crystalline that's really kind of holding the vibration of this light. And yeah, like I already said, nature has stepped up into a new level of enlightenment, and we're kind of really, I would say, lay people are, are noticing that the water has got this extra vibrancy that the bush has, the trees have. And it's true. It's true. I've noticed it. I'm sure you have, but it blew me away when when someone I was speaking to spoke about noticing that. So this is our ascension experience accelerated again. I mean, who would have thought that would keep accelerating in the way that it has? But it's not. It's not just accelerating, is it? It's this exponential acceleration. So these accelerated particles, they are all assisting to speed up the ascension process for humanity and for Earth and for Earth's energetic fields. So they are all being bathed in this very potent elixir, this transformative accelerant of light particles and codes. So let's see if there's anything in the chat before I go on to here. Oh, good. Thank you, Soul Inspirations. Yes, I'm sorry it's a nuisance, but fortunately you people are onto it. Hello, Aniko. Hello, Megan. Hi, Billy, if I haven't said hello to you. Hi, Charlotte. Soul Inspirations is saying, I see, I feel moved by that. I was in a local speakers meeting, like Toastmasters, and one of our leaders said, the men have a lot to answer for in the world. It was incredibly beautiful. Yeah, well, this young man who came to see me recently, and he's been to see me before, and I just felt so moved by the things that he said to me, the things that he's aspiring to and to be. And yeah, I feel really privileged when that happens in my midst. Hi, Deb. I know, I'm useless. I need an assistant. Fiona's saying, oh, yes, liquid light. Well, that's another way of saying it, isn't it? Liquid light, embodying the qualities of fire and water. Hi, Fiona. So, we're on the edges of this. And it's like, so we're watching, to me anyway, we're watching on the physical, very earthly, tangible level. We are watching disclosure. we're watching the revealing of truth that is related to the health sector in general, that is related to finance in general, and banks and gold and silver and crypto. There's a lot of information coming about all of those things. And then government agencies, government representation, and a lot of information coming up to do with the passing of money, corruption, bribery. And so this is all going to lead to our having, what I believe anyway, a reformed, new, more appropriate, higher conscious way of governance, or of, always shows up to me as sort of like bodies of people or committees, where there's representation that's relevant to the issue. And it always shows up to me as ranging in age from the elderly to primary school children. And what we will, I was saying to somebody the other day that often when I'm tuning into the new children, I see, and maybe you've heard me say this, I see the 5-year-old with the mortarboard and the pointer stick at the front of the lecture theatre at university. And they have come to be our teachers. And it's not necessarily that they'll be lecturing us, but they have come to bring in the new codes and to maybe foundationally use them so we can access them more easily. And for us, of course, that's been, the job of first wave is to be recognizing these new currents, and it's also going to be our new currency, right? This love, this energy from the heart, this emission of light, that is going to be our new currency. And I can't tell you when, but it's going to be like a foundational principle that, and the way in which we exchange our heart energy is going to be important. That is going to be, the currency, the currency of value. Let me put it that way. So we're going to be resetting. I'm inviting you to reset your internal GPS, and I want to say this is not like, that's where I'm going for the next 3 months. It's like, what am I doing today? Okay, okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing today, or that's what I'm doing now, or it's about in the miniature, in the micro. It's this being in the moment with things and being prepared to be flexible and change direction and follow your intuition and follow your guidance. And so the guidance is in this moment, and then in this moment, or in this hour, and then in this hour. And be prepared to change your mind, because you're feeling into the energetics of it. You're asking your higher self to give you this guidance. So that's why I wrote today, to check, to travel deep within yourself, and to check for roadblocks, to check for the diversions, to check for the reroutes. So that is, of course, a metaphor, a visual metaphor, but do it inside yourself. Dive within and check and see, is there anything here that is, asking for further discussion with yourself, or asking for some sort of opening, or some excavation, or some healing, or some conversation, and be in the conversation of that within yourself. Because we're just, every time we come to new energy, it allows us to access into the deeper and the older. And for probably all of us here, we have come to break down and address some of the old familial things that have been intergenerational patterns or behaviours, and some of them won't be pretty. But that's what we would have gone, oh yeah, well, I will go and do that. And so it's our role, and I feel we're in the finishing off components of that. But just keep remembering to ask yourself, what's required now? What's required in this moment? Tell me, higher self, what is it that I need to do here? So yeah, that's just reminding me. But I'm pretty sure I told you recently about that day that I got sent to a new warehouse and ended up sitting in this display area and taking off, not stripping, not stripping off to being naked or in my underwear, but it was winter outside, and I sat in the middle of this display, which is not my nature to do that. And then I took my shoes and socks off, and then I took my coat off, and I took my sweatshirt off, and I was sitting there in, my jeans and t-shirt, and it was winter, and I was just on fire, and um, I realized that I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why am I here? And because I had been guided to go there as well, there was nothing, no reason for me to go, and it was get out of here. It was like that. It was like got booted out the door, and I was bang smack in the middle. So when I counted the girders, I was in the right under the middle girder, and I was right in the apex. And so I was anchoring in some energy to that place. Um, yeah, and was there something else I was going to say about that? Oh yeah, the language thing. So, it's interesting, isn't it, that we have been placed in this kind of bracket of dealing with trans. And so I was saying to somebody in the last day or so, it always fascinates me how here we are. So here we are in the spiritual, energetic world, and we're dealing with transformation, with transmigration, with transmutation. We're dealing with the trans word. And here we are in the physical world where there's this increase of more people identifying as trans, and also anyway, from my perspective, that's part of the intrusion, but not that it's not real and tangible and exists, but the quantity of the volume of that is, I believe, an intrusion. And it just kind of amuses me how on this is just one simple example of what's happening on various levels. Yeah, it's like the current vernacular of the spectrum. That was what came. Yeah, and I want to say that I call to you, and we are being called to be conscious creators. So be particularly mindful of what it is that you are saying to yourself, what it is that you are speaking out loud. So, what you're saying to yourself in your mind, what you're speaking out loud, and notice if it's off, if it's not for us bringing in something that's higher and aligned, then say something like, "Oh, no, I cancel and delete that, and I'm rewriting it," and then say it in a more higher, more powerful way. So yes, I want to invite you here now to give yourself permission to become and step into your greatest version of self. So I just invite you to close your eyes wherever you are. If you could just be somewhere where you're seated comfortably and place your feet on the ground, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and just take a few long and slow and gentle breaths. So just breathing in, following the breath in through the nose, down through the body, and then breathing out. You take two more. And just invite you to fall into your own heart. And when you are there, Notice, did you fall into your energetic heart or into your physical heart? And notice if you've gone as a version of yourself or as an energetic or as a shape. And be in the experience of feeling what it's like to be in your own heart. What's the temperature like in there? How does it make you feel to be residing in your own heart? What can you see? Maybe you can see colour. Maybe you can see fractals or pieces or organs or tubes. And while you are in your own heart, I want you now to envisage this other version of you standing in front of you. So if you don't see, imagine. And if you struggle to imagine, just know there's this other version of you standing in front of you and facing you. So you might be watching this from behind the eyes of your own physical body. You might be watching it from your internal vision. You might be watching it from this little version of yourself, your energy in your heart. I want you to notice when you look into the eyes, look into your eyes, the new version of you, look into the new version of you, into the eyes, and notice how sparkly your eyes are. See the light behind your eyes. Take it in. And now notice there's a light emanating from the center of your energetic heart. Watch and see. What does that do? What color is it? How bright is it? Where does it go? How does it feel? What is it for? Honestly, notice the sparkle of your light. And then I want you to step into that. Step into that new version of you. So you might step in and turn around, or you might move behind the back and step in from the back, or you might rotate and take a step backwards. I want you to step into that new version of you. And kind of give yourself a little shake like you're noticing as you're fitting into this new body, this new shape, this new skin. I want you to notice how calm you feel, how centered you are, how all-knowing you are. How grand you are. What else do you notice? What do you feel? What do you recognize? What do you understand in this new version of you? We'll just sit in some silent space for a few moments as you observe, feel, notice what arises and what washes over you. So we'll just sit in silence for a couple of minutes. Notice that you're feeling more vibrant, more youthful. And just scan your body now. Take note what feels different. And now imagine that you are looking into a mirror. This new, bigger, brighter, grander version of you is looking in a mirror. Notice how vibrant you look, how radiant you are. Check in with your higher self to ask, what gifts have I got coming on now? And just bring yourself back. You can stay in your new form and invite that is now embodied in divine timing, under grace, under ease, and under comfort. And just say quietly to yourself, I love this new version of me. I'm excited about getting to know this new version of me. And then just slowly and gently bring yourself back to this space. And I invite you to pop in the chat anything that you would be happy to share. Maybe a gift that you got told is coming online for you. Let's see if there's any common gifts that are showing up. You just open your eyes when you're ready. Yeah, I just invite you to just make any relevant comments in the chat. I want to tell you that there's a couple of, doing a workshop uh, in Orewa coming up with, I'm going to do just a component of it with Nicola Gibbons. She is calling it the Maria Rising, I think. And so that's coming up. I will put I'll put the information about it in the on my Facebook page and in the community link on here. So if you're interested in that and around and can physically come, there's that. My website is having to be redeveloped somewhere else. It's very strange. But anyway, that's how it is. Finally got to the bottom of it, or really I got to a dead end street with it. And so I will put a booking link into the tops of my Facebook page and into the top of my YouTube channel. And so it's a link that will take you sort of bypass through into the back into the booking system. So if you are looking there and if you're looking for a session, that's where you can go to. And at the moment, I need to tweak it, but because at the moment I've just got it open for booking for Zoom sessions. But if you want to come in person, just book a Zoom session and just send me a message saying I want to come in person. But I'll get that changed in the next day or so anyway. And yeah, I have this total sense of excitement about what is to come, and that it feels so close, and that it might not be, the finishing chapter, but we certainly are kind of in a new book, in a new chapter, and I feel that we're in a new place. By the end of March, we're definitely in a higher dimensional space, and then we will see what comes next. But yeah, fifth dimension is what Gaia is saying. That's the sort of the go-to aim, if you like, is for all of Earth to be in a fifth dimensional experience, and then we can each be having higher dimensional spiraling up experiences, and in that way, Earth will also come into higher. But that's what she's saying, like baseline fifth dimension for everything. Okay, so let me see. Billy saw a woman dancing and then partners dancing in her heart space. How beautiful. Charlotte saying, what beautiful energy in this space. Yes, it really is, isn't it, Charlotte? Thank you, everyone who comes here, because it's our collective energy that creates that. Billy saying her gift is seeing energy. Oh, that'll be interesting. And then Fiona saying she was gifted 2 beautiful clear crystal beads recently. As I'm not sure what that word means, but in relation to maybe an Arcturian being came in now during meditation, an aspect of her. Wow. Yeah, I think that that's a really good thing to have made a note of, Fiona, because this is our merging, right? So we're here in our physicality in this dimensional space, and there is this idea that we're going to be merging in not just our higher self, but our higher aspects, and that's going to be the qualities and the, I guess, what would you say, the attributes, the gifts that we share with humanity in the next place, era, around dimensional experience. Um, Also linked to crystals, magic, and miracles. Oh, that's amazing. Yes, and I feel that, we are on the edges of this. We are on the edges of this, witnessing the miracles and creating the miracles. And I want to say that if it is that you are saying a lot of nots and don'ts, and I'll never, if your language is taking you on a negative trajectory, then it's time to go, stop, enough, reframe it. If you hear it, if you notice it coming out of your lips or running through your mind, go, stop, reframe, rewrite it, restate it, and state it in the positive and in what you want, and in the, now I'm excited about being in the experience of this. Now I'm so excited. I think a gentle word to use is curious. I'm curious to see what's going to show up there. I'm really open to seeing how this lands, how this turns out, how this ends, how this shows up. Being like the curious child, being in that fantasial quality of imagination, that maybe we need to get better at that. But certainly there is power in that. There's power in the statement of it, the recognition of it, without strangling it by holding on to it so tightly. But I feel that we are in the mentorship of this for self. Now, we don't need other people to teach us. We need to just be very self-aware and observant of what's going on here and what's coming out here and what we're writing, and then reframe it so that it aligns, so that it supports what it is that you want, that you desire, that you require, that you see coming up here in this, immediate now moment. The crystals actually appeared out of nowhere. Ah, wow. Well, that doesn't surprise me. All right. Well, I wish you like amazing sleep. I don't know. How are you going with sleep? I feel like I have a bit more sleep every now and again, but I also feel like I go through periods of having, a few days of not sleeping. The energies are, like really amped up, and I wrote something on somebody else's Facebook post, and I said, oh, I feel really, because this is how I felt, charged, like charged by the energies, and I noticed that he wrote that he was feeling charged as well. So we're in these big energies that are available to us to tweak and play with and refine and embody, and enable ourselves to be more powerful. And this creation, through this merging of the mind and the heart, and the embodying the qualities of that. So I wish you a beautiful weekend, and I will, be back when I am back. And it would be good, wouldn't it, that if I could commit to particular times. But I've always felt like I wanted to be fluid with this, and so probably just going to continue with that at least for a little while, until maybe we settle into some new dimensional space, and then maybe I can. I mean, to be honest, I love this. I feel like this is really my work. I mean, I love seeing clients as well, but I feel like this sort of being the messenger, or being our messenger for Gaia, it feels, I don't know, don't want to say important, because that sort of could be full of self-importance, but it feels important. I don't feel important, but the work feels important, and this is really what I would love to be able to do more of, but I have bills to pay. So until that flips for me, um, I'll just be doing what I'm doing, which is posting when I've got an opportunity to post and not be on here, and be on here when I can. Yes, so the other aspect is that if you don't know, I am co-hosting a dolphin retreat on Sacred Union to Bimini in September, and we haven't quite launched it, but we've tweaked it. It's ready to go, and there are going to be some like time frames. So we're going to offer um, an early bird price, a special price, and then it will go to another price. So we're probably going to launch that in the next couple of days, and there's only 20 spots. So if it's something that appeals to you, just be in you can read about it and be in the consideration of it. But yeah, we're going back to Wild Quest, and in September. All right. So thank you, Fiona. Yeah, we're thinly spread. It's that "Are you a blue dot" thing that guy gave me maybe 5 years ago. The recognition that we are we are the ones who are the blue dots, and we're well spread, and we're well spread for purpose, so that we can hold the grids. So, I know the other thing. I don't know if I said this or not, but anyway, I'll say it again. So, this whole system, how I've seen that the pyramids above and below, blah, 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 above and below, I won't say blah, 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 the pyramids on our world, hidden and known, above and below ground and above and below water, and that they sit on the ley lines, and that there's been this connection through the internal of the earth and through the external of the earth, and that has been like connected up and then run at various points. I meant to check in with Gaia, but what I can tell you is that, so it's been run with a test, like a test run, and so everything worked, and then it got amped up, and so it was run, I think, at 20, and then at 40, and then at 60, and then at 80, and so it is my knowing, although I haven't physically asked her, that when we get to 100, that's our ascension. And then I was at meditation at the EES Centre in Mount Wellington, and I spoke of that. Just it's old. It's not old news, but it's old information to me. And there have been three occasions lately where I felt like that was something I needed to say. And this woman came up to me afterwards, and she said to me, that was the piece of information I've been waiting for. Because she speaks to, gets guidance from who she calls the goddess. And someone said to her, when are you going to Egypt? So we have known that she's going to Egypt, but she hasn't booked. And a few weeks ago, I was somewhere with her, and she said, "No." I said to her, when are you going?" And she said, "I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the instruction from the goddess." And anyway, so I told her, or told the group, this information, and afterwards she came up and she gave me a hug and she said, "Thank you. That's the piece of information I've been waiting for." So what I am feeling is that part of her role, and it's not exclusive either. Like everybody, lots of people go to the pyramids and they do activations and all the rest of it, and this is not diminishing anything that anybody else has done or said that they have to do or whatever. But I am feeling that her visit to the pyramids, and like she's said, she's been told to go to two places only, two pyramids. So I haven't even asked her where the other one is, but Yeah, it's my sense or my wonder, I guess, my curiosity is her going, is the timing of hearing that information, does that mean that she goes and whatever she is doing activates it to 100? And there's just the sense that that might be like the activation for this dimensional shift. Who knows? There might be lots of different variations of it, or there might be like a whole lot of things that come together that create that. But that felt significant to me. So yeah, just mentioning that there's just always amazing things and coincidences and synchronicities in our lives now, aren't there? And this is our new way of being, you know. And so the beauty of more men being in their hearts is so soul filling. It really, really is. And this is, all part of the shift that is real and tangible and happening. So big hugs to all of you. Thank you. My gratitude to you for joining me here as always and for holding this beautiful space for one another. And I will see you again soon. Have a beautiful, magnificent, light filled, love filled weekend. Bye.